And you're right on time for yet another episode of Let's Talk Love Kenya, where I sit with the UN Professor Herman Manyora to talk about issues of love, family and unity. My name is Kimathi. Welcome to the show. Prof, how are you doing?
Wonderful.
You're doing good?
Good.
I'm doing great too.
You could not get better.
Could not get better.
No.
Talking about love this week, the issue that we have is someone reached out to me, told me to ask you about something. They didn't give me a story, but it's an issue that some people want you to talk about. The issue of getting into a marriage with someone's kid that are not your own, especially for men. This guy just want to know, does Prof think, is it dangerous for a man? Because you've said again and again, it's good to know what you're getting into. So this guy knows he's getting into a marriage with a woman who has 2 kids from someone else, and is not sure how it's going to play out. Would you advise men to red flag and stay away from women who have kids from other men, or is it not a factor at all when considering a spouse?
You know, again, like I said before, you know, we are in a very awkward situation. Most of these things were sorted out by tradition and culture.
And you
So
say
where
we're
I
in
come
between
from, for
us.
example, where I come from, it was shunned upon for a man like you to marry a woman with a child. So women who got children out of wedlock were reserved for old men like us to take a second, third wife.
Widowers.
And you know, yeah, and widowers.
Yes, and men who...
But a young man, it could not be imagined. It would even be killing your mother to bring home a woman with a child.
But today it's so rampant.
I'm saying that's how culture and tradition sorted out things. You couldn't even try. Because how? Everybody would laugh at you. Now, again, the matter of having children was sorted out by culture. Where I come from, children belong to the wife, to the mother, to the father. So by the time a woman is getting married, she won't have to go with the children.
Because they belong to the dad.
They remain with the parents and finally perhaps with the real father. And many things during circumcision, even if he had come with a boy, when circumcision is around, that boy won't be circumcised from my place. You know, they will have to look for their father. If the kid died, they won't be buried where others. You know, so culture took care of all those things. So now as you enter into these things in the modern world, you have to be very careful, because then culture may not be there, tradition may not be there. So that is left to you, your designs and what is happening around you and the modern, what are people thinking? And finally, my advice would be, it is up to you to look at it. Do you have a problem with it? Is this something you are going to be ashamed of when it turns out that the children roaming in your compound, 2 of them are not yours? Can you live with it? Is it something you will accept? You have an internal dialogue with yourself. And now that your future spouse has brought it out, it is open. Discuss it with her. Now, at that level is a personal choice. But you need to consult people who have gone through it, experts. Because there are issues, and I'm coming up with a program on that.
You are?
There are issues with children who are not yours in a family. There are issues.
Serious issues.
Serious issues. I'll bring out.
Most young men don't know that. And
There are serious issues.
where guys regret later.
You have to be careful.
Do you have content that you'd like produced, or an event that needs video and audio coverage? You need not struggle looking for a production company. Nairobi Review offers you the best quality and affordable coverage of conferences, weddings, funeral, birthday parties, or any other event. Call or email us now. Nairobi Review, quality is our utmost priority.
There are issues. Sometimes it has been said, I don't know whether it is true, that outsiders tend to seal the lack of the family. So that you'll find in most times, these 2 could be the brightest in your family.
And they're not yours.
Yeah, yours are now...
Says a lot about you.
Yours are obvious. Now, how will you take that as a man, for example?
You won't like it.
You may not like it, because now this is not your blood, but they are the ones shining in your family. You know, those are the things you have to be prepared for. But more seriously, and this, I was bringing up a program on this, and I'll still do it. You have 4 children in the home. 2 are your stepchildren. Mama Mekuja and I. 2 are yours. My friend, whenever you are angry, be careful how you relate with these 2 who are not yours.
Guys struggle with that you can't punish the kids because they're not yours.
You touch these 2. You touch any of this, you are going to have a problem. Be very careful. You can be harsh on your own, But these others, you have to be very sensitive. These are realities.
It's your house.
You have to be careful.
You're the government.
Those are, you see, a house has minefields. So in this particular house, those are some of the minefields you must avoid as you walk. Navigate around the minefield. Hata asira ikikupanda, nyamaza kidogo. Hii italeta shida leo. Hiyo nyumba haikaliki. Haikaliki. Be careful. When you must distribute fees, maybe times are a little hard. So you want kutupa kidogo kidogo. All of them are going to high school. Say, you are two are going, the other two, they are in high school or they are about. Maybe one is in college or those kind of things. Or even one in primary school.
Na wale si wako wanaenda
na uko na pesa kidogo. Chunge you'll utaanza na hao. You have to pay for these two. These people must know these things. Don't just smile and think they are rosy. They are not rosy. It is something that can be managed in the context of love, like I've said. When people love each other, these are not very big issues. You see? But even a woman, when you have your children, you marry a woman and you have children, and the two of they are not hers. It's also not easy. She can come saying, I'll take care of your children, I know you lost your wife. No! Be prepared for trouble. Because the average woman will always favor her child over the others.
That love is not voluntary, it just comes.
So I think it is worse for those who don't have love. In situations where your love is not very strong, then it becomes very difficult.
They weaken it even more.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult. So love helps you to mitigate some of the challenges. You know, if a woman loves you, she will not have a lot of trouble you taking your child to a bigger school than her own child. Because your child has gotten 410 marks and they have been invited to Alliance Girls.
Expensive.
And hers has 320. So she can only go to some average school. You know, if there's no love, there's no how.
You will fight.
Huyu anafunga anaenda Alliance Girls.
Yeah.
And hers is headed to some Tumutumu Girls.
Backwater
school.
Tumutumu Girls is a good school.
It's a good school, but it's not like Alliance High School.
It's not comparable.
It's not comparable.
Right.
So, Prof, those are some of the things you need to be aware of as you enter into those. Of course, once you are married and those situations are there, your wife has children.
You have to handle it.
You have to be careful. You have to discuss these things openly. Like, it's not just as straightforward as it should be that because this child went to Tumutumu Girls, now yours have come after us who are older. So one went to Tumutumu Girls, another one went to some Kilingili boys, and now yours, one is going to Alliance. Don't think it's just natural.
It's going to be tension in there.
No, you have to be talking about these things. Yeah, this one has, well, next. But John, he may not have done well. But what we shall do after Form 4, we shall see what village tutamus. You know, like when you think it's just normal, they are not, those children are not the same. Don't go into a marriage, you think it will be the same. It's very difficult.
You know, Prof, from these conversations you have, you give me the picture that marriage for a man means responsibility and nothing else.
No, it is love and responsibility. And I started by telling you this, and I've said before, we are in an awkward situation. Traditions, culture, customs help people to manage. Having children, marrying a third marriage, fourth marriage, it's so common in the Western world. And therefore, Joe Biden has another wife, has children. You know, all these people, they have different wives. Trump has his own grown-up children. Melania Trump has just one boy. It's so normal.
All from
because
people.
The culture now can accommodate it very easily. But for us, we are still navigating around the past, now, and the future.
We are in between us.
We are trying to behave as if we are Mzungu. But we are not.
Not quite Mzungu, not
we
quite
are not quite African. So this is what I'm calling this Bermuda Triangle is disturbing us.
Yeah?
The Bermuda Triangle of culture.
Yeah.
It's
just hanging somewhere.
We are hanging somewhere. We are not quite there. But that problem you think is a problem is to you because you are a wannabe.
Yeah?
A wannabe. A middle class trying to think they are successful. They are Western. But to a typical man, a typical Tiriki man, that's not an issue.
So are you saying now we are starting to see the dangers of moving away from our very strict African ways in terms of marriage?
Yes, yes.
We are starting to feel the pinch of that.
Yes.
But the idea was modernism is better. Modern marriages,
But you see, the distance between where we are and where modernism begins is some distance.
Behind. And
but we want to think we are there.
Right.
So and again, you see, the extent to which you are yourself is also very limited. We are others beyond ourselves. You are your mother's child. You are your father's child.
They project themselves
the community, friends, peers. There's a friend of mine, very close friend of mine. I think the closest friend I have today. He is in that kind of situation. His first marriage couldn't work. He had his own grown-up children. He got another woman. She has grown-up children. The man is a really man. A really man is a man who should treat your wife's children
as your own.
Like your own. Take them to school so that a stranger cannot know the difference. That's a really man. And my friend is a really man. But you see, his cousins were telling him, you are the most stupid man. You are spending money on blood which is not yours. So he needed to be a man to disregard that. It was coming. When you hear your brother telling you, your cousin, it is not him. It is your father speaking through them. Ambia ndugu yenyu, mbona ni mjinga namna hii? Anapeleka watoto ambao si yake, anapeleka big schools, anapeleka university. He's a fool. So the father may not have the courage to tell you. So when you hear this coming from your cousins, you are what?
Foot soldiers.
It is your mother, it is your father, you know, driving the narrative but through others. So again, you must be aware of all those things. Extremely aware, because pressure from elsewhere is not as simple.
And you have to be...
Pressure, you can think you are a man. I always had my father-in-law.
Yeah?
When he's annoyed with the wife, my mother-in-law, you, well, mwanamuke unanikosa. Unajua what people used to tell me about you and I ignored. Because he got a girl in an African setup. You know how much pressure he will have gone through to marry again or to look for another woman. So he would, my mother-in-law akisikia, so
you did not cave into the pressure.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pressure. If you marry a woman and she doesn't have children, there'll be a lot of pressure. If you marry a woman, like in this case, who has children, and you begin taking them to good schools, people will think you are a fool. They will tell you lots of stuff. So you must be prepared for all those things. But again, love is what sorts out everything.
All right, thank you,
Those things
Prof.
from those people may not matter as much if you are dealing in a home which is surrounded with love.
All right, you've heard it, folks, from Prof himself. We were talking about the issue of children who are not yours in a marriage, in a family. And Prof is saying it's important for a man to know what he's getting into, as he's always said. And it's also important for a man to include love in the mix when getting into such situations. Until see you next time, my name is Kimadi. This is Let's Talk Love Kenya.